welcome to the A.D.H.Deep-Dive, the show that's not about ADHD, but is filled with proof it exists. My name is David J. Mund. I am joined today by Emma Sheridan. We're going to talk a little bit about a trip that we went on to the old Rocky Mountains, right? No.
It is the Rockies, yeah.
Is it? Yeah, we went to Colorado for our anniversary. Gus, if you're going to do this, get up here. As per usual, when we are I'm doing a podcast at Emma's house, there's dogs everywhere. Tim's body is proportioned so strangely right now. Gus, if you're going to do it, just get up here, dude. Okay, there we go. Gus is joined. Couple of things to get off the bat. One, I might be coming across as a little rushed. Disgusting, Gus. I might come across as a little bit rushed. We'll have less than an hour to do this. I have rehearsal after this. And then I found out that I'm actually shooting a show tonight, a couple of show recaps for a few bands. So I'll be there. You look very short in comparison. I think it's because
That's forced perspective.
It's forced perspective, yeah. We're in that Willy Wonka room or whatever. Okay. Anyways, it's clearly already happening. I'm a little stressed and time constrained. But if you're listening to this today, this pillow's still wet because I spilled tea all over it. Today, if you're listening to this, No Time at All has come out. The second official single from my solo project in over 6 years. It's a big deal to me. I think maybe there's time to talk about that later on. A bit of a labor of love. Shot the music video, which you can probably find in the links below. You can also stream it wherever. I guess there's not really much to say beyond the fact that it's finally out. Came out March 29th. I laid down the demo for this in November, I found out. So it's been about a 5-month process to get this song out. And I just spoke with Spencer this morning, and we're gonna set up a time for me to go in there and record the next one. So We're grooving. We're moving and grooving. There's a way to tie this in to the No Time at All. Well, first of all, hello.
Hi.
I'm here all the time now, so it's weird to be like, hello, how are you? Nice to see you. How have you been? I just realized that I adjusted the light. But anyways, listen to the video viewers. It's going to be all sorts of weird right now. I'm doing some changes. But No Time at All is out now. Took a little bit of, I'll be honest, creative vulnerability and bravery to do this. I was very scared to do this solo project all these years ago. I'm still scared to do it. But it's out, it's done, it's here. We'll talk about bravery in just a minute, because that's actually something that I want to tie into later on. But, Emma, we just went to Colorado.
We sure did.
For our anniversary.
We sure did.
Do you want to talk about the planning process? Because you had to keep many things secret from me.
The planning process. So the goal of keeping things secret wasn't to trick or deceive in any kind of way.
It wasn't surprise, it's our anniversary.
Get on a plane,
right?
Close your eyes and wake up in another state. But the goal was just, it's nice to sometimes turn your brain off a little bit and know that the other person has taken care of all the details.
Yeah.
Did we talk about my birthday on this podcast?
No, but you feel free to do so.
Sure. So the Spark Notes version is that David planned a very, very wholesome, very thoughtful excursion for my birthday in which we went out of town. He orchestrated for my best friends to come into town to join for that. And then each day we had different things planned that they kept secret from me, but it was all in service of, I didn't have to worry about planning any of the details of it. I just got to kind of enjoy the ride, and it was great.
But you knew we were going somewhere.
I knew we were going somewhere.
We could do a quick Spark Notes version of that story. I think we got time for that.
Sure. Yeah. So, like what we did?
Well, not what we did, but like the, hey, we're doing something for your birthday build up.
Sure. For about 6 months, he was building up, we're doing something for your birthday. I didn't know what. It was not until very, very close to the event itself that I knew we were going somewhere.
Because Timber came up.
Right, because I was like, well, what are we going to do with the dog?
Yeah.
And
don't worry yourself, sweetheart. I took care of it.
He did. So there was sitters all lined up for the dog. His dogs were taken care of. We ended up going to the a lakeside cabin of a close friend.
Friend of the show, Katie Scavo
yes.
of Cat and Crew.
Yeah. And when I get there, surprise, my best friends pop out and surprise me, who both live out of state.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we went to an apple orchard and went to a haunted house and shot a short film just for kicks and giggles after going to an antique show. We still got to finish the end of it.
Yeah.
And it was really lovely and very thoughtful and very well planned and a great way to spend a 30th birthday. So
my understanding was that kind of set the template for like how it would be nice to treat each other to experiences.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want, because we had this discussion the other day where you were like, how open are you wow, I hope the microphone just picked up Timber's deep, annoyed sigh. You had kind of launched, how open are you to the idea of being like, we're going today, your bags are already packed, like that kind of thing. And I don't love it. I like knowing we're gonna go do something this date so you can prepare your brain to be having fun or doing whatever from X date to X date. I don't need to know what those things are. So that's kind of how this came to be.
Yeah. But, there was an element of wanting. It was so nice that it is fun to think about capturing that same, ooh, what are we doing next kind of feeling for future trips. So
I'm doing a thing I talked about on the last episode of the podcast where I'm clicking this freaking pen.
You are.
And I need to have a fidget toy. And my butt might be wet from the tea. Ladies and gentlemen, my butt's wet.
Oh my God, yes it is.
My butt is so wet. Okay,
you just gave that for free. Normally people have to pay for that. This is a great time to start your Patreon up again.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/ADHDeepDive, see my wet ass.
Ooh, okay. Was it hot in here?
No, that's just the damp butt. Okay, anyway, so our anniversary.
So I planned much of it with the goal of not overpacking our days, but filling them with enough to do that felt adventurous.
Yep. So, again, I knew we were going to... Here's what I did know, and we will build to this. We were going to end the weekend with participating in an immersive experience put on by her friends in the immersive... Sphere. Which I guess preemptively, quick shout out to... Paralysis, David Higgins...
Sam Delacruz,
Quinn Leary. That's the group.
That's the team. Yep.
There were actors involved as well, but that's the crew. Quinn came with us when we did the Valediction show out in Death Valley, which was about 2 years ago at this point. It was January of 2024. Yeah. Gus, that's enough. So I met Quinn out there for that. But I knew that we were doing that Sunday, and we will talk about that at the end.
And that was originally the primary reason for going out. I was going to go no matter what, and it happened to fall just days before our anniversary, so we thought, why not make a trip out of it?
Right. So what I knew is that we were going to Colorado, right? And that flights had been booked, taken care of in that regard. And let me tell you, that's actually a crazy part of the experience. Right now, as we're talking, DHS is defunded, TSA is jam-packed, ICE is at the airports, and people have to wait like 4 to 6 hours to even pass through TSA. For the most part, when we were there, it was... some delays were setting in, but this was right before all that kicked in. So really good timing to go to the airport before all the chaos.
Correct.
But because I had to host a gig on Monday, and I do not love missing out on that income, we had to book like the most inconvenient flights possible.
Which they were also the cheapest flights.
Right.
So it worked out.
But boy, howdy, were they worth their weight in gold?
So I mean, the essentially,
boy, video viewers are missing out. You gotta tune into the video version just to watch these dogs, man.
Yeah, it's like those old screensavers from the 90s. It's like, oh, what's it gonna do next?
Every once in a while, the dog just goes. Whoa.
Yeah, it'll hit the corner at some point, and we'll all be cheering. That's the DVD screen. Anyway,
that's fine.
we flew out very, very late on Friday night. And naturally, cheap flights mean tight connections. And then we flew home, I think at like 4 a.m. on Monday to arrive at 2 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
Something because of time zones. It was wild, but
yeah. So we fly out of Grand Rapids.
2 p.m. Monday.
The original plan was, I think the plane was supposed to leave at 8 o'clock. We ended up leaving at like 9:30.
Yeah.
Something like that. First and foremost, that flight, thanks to your frequent flyer, got upgraded to first class, baby.
It did.
And so we went from Grand Rapids to Chicago, which was like a 45-minute flight.
Well, there was some discussion of not being able to make our connection, and we were like, well, we might make our connection, however, our bags might not. What happens? Should we get to Chicago and risk being stranded in Chicago? Should we stay in Grand Rapids? We decided, whatever, we're all going to be dust in 100 years and we only live once.
Do it for the podcast.
Let's just go to Chicago, and if we get stranded in Chicago, at least there's directs from Chicago. So,
as a quick interruption and to follow up on a thing I just said about do it for the podcast, that I listened to a handful of podcasts, Ear Biscuits among them, from Rhett and Link, which is unfortunately no longer a podcast, but they used to like calm themselves down in stressful situations by telling them like, at least this is going to make a great podcast episode.
That's so funny. Well, I mean, truly,
it's a good
not
story.
Not the podcast. Yeah, I'll do things for a story.
For the lore.
What's good? What's the worst that could happen?
Right. So that is a fun thing. Like, and I think what we realized, which is a good thing about our relationship to begin with, is we're both just kind of like down for the adventure. Mm-hmm. It's like, whatever, let's see what happens. Yeah. Definitely it's stressful, and like she calmed me down to a degree, but like, it's like, oh, whatever. This will be fun.
Yeah.
So we take the 45-minute flight from Grand Rapids to Chicago, get off the plane, and sprint.
We were stretching as we were waiting.
Yeah. We were like getting ready to get off the plane and go.
We were like, oh, once you hit your 30s, you can't just sprint cold anymore.
There was a real fear of getting halfway, because I think we had like 10 gates to go, getting halfway through and one of our ACLs blowing out and the other one having to drag the other one, be like, I don't care, get on this fucking plane. We got things to do. So we get to our gate, out of breath.
Minutes to spare.
Well, we thought
minutes.
Technically we were late. I think we boarded late.
Boarding doors were essentially closing.
The doors were closed because they had to like let us back. But we got onto the plane and discovered that we were not the last ones. There were other people who were running.
There was a maintenance issue. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it was like perfect that there was something wrong with the plane or whatever. It was like a de-icing thing. I don't know. So we were late, but we still didn't take off for like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. And at this point, I think it's this flight, we ended up discovering that we're not even going to sit together.
Yeah, we were separated.
Yeah, which would suck. But yet again, got upgraded to first class. Mm-hmm. So now we have a 2.5-hour flight where she's 4 hours behind, or 4 rows behind me, and I'm up in 1A. So I'm sitting in the aisle, which typically I like the window, but the person next to me had the window open, so it's fine. I just love, shout out to a friend of the show, Molly. Mm-hmm. She texted me today, or sent me a video today of the clouds, and she said that anytime she like has a cool view in the plane, she'll send it to me because she knows how much I like views from the plane. I love. Yeah. I didn't fly much as a kid. I don't think I flew ever as a kid, technically. Maybe I flew once. But like the first time I like started flying was in 2021 to New York. And since then I've flown less than 10 to 15 times of a cumulative like 4 trips. So like layovers are part of that 10. I have not flown much, and it has not grown old to me to see the sun rising or setting over like the cool clouds, or like see the views of the city down below. Like, I hope I never get used to that image, because like, there's something just so cool about it. You, for other reasons, like sitting by the window.
Yeah, I like sitting by the window because it gives me the illusion of control.
Do you we can gloss past it, but do you want to talk about your, not like the experience, but like your disdain for flights?
I don't like flights. I had a bad emergency landing experience maybe like 7-8 years ago, where we had to be in the brace positions. They were shouting, brace, brace, brace. They had fire trucks on the runway when we landed. I was fine. Plane was fine. I was fine. It was not a fun trip for me.
I would go as far to say that it maybe traumatized you a bit. Yeah. But you're brave and you fly.
I am brave and I fly anyway because listen, this is not my phrase, but there's something to be said about your best adventures being on the other side of discomfort. And so, I like to try to hold the tension of being afraid and wanting what's on the other side of that fear anyway. So,
which is your destination.
It is.
The other side of that fear is where you need to be.
My destination. Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway, what David is trying to get me to say is that if I fall asleep on planes, I wake up gasping, and it's
I wasn't even saying to fall asleep.
Unfortunate for my seatmates, but
that is true. The first time I ever flew with her was when we did the Neil Patrick Harris experience.
I warned him
a year ago, 2 years ago,
2 years.
A year and
some change.
About a year and a half. And she's asleep on my shoulder, and I'm asleep on her head. And every 10 to 15 minutes, it was. I wasn't even trying to coax you into talking about the sleep thing, but that's true.
Very unfortunate. But
you
anyway,
just like to see what's going on out the window. You like the window seat.
I do. If the wing's on fire, I would know.
Right.
Yeah. Gotta know what's
so you could help, right? But anyways, all that to say, I had the aisle seat. But this is the first time, even though I'm riding the coattails of someone who is a frequent flyer, who got a technically worse seat than I did, and I'm sitting in first class, which I did not know. You just get whatever you want on first class. You can drink as much as you want. You can eat as much as you want. I've never known that. And so I'm sitting in first class in the front row with a Jack and Diet in my hand and my screenplay in my lap. And it all those things combined was like, I've made it. I look back and Emily's asleep and I'm like, she's resting. I'm here writing my movie with a drink in my hand in first class.
It's one of those moments worth romanticizing.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you'd phrase it that way, to romanticize it, and it very much was. It was the coolest. Even though it was luck on top of luck, it was but this is cool. I'm writing a movie in first class with a drink in my hand on my way to Colorado. So anyways, that's about a 2.5 hour flight, maybe 3 hours. We get to Colorado.
Our bag has made it.
Miraculously. We can gloss over the rental car experience, but it took way too long.
Long time.
Very long time to get the rental car.
Yeah.
And then we have about an hour and a half to 2 hour drive.
And it's blizzarding.
Was it blizzarding or was it just snow and not great? They had got their first snow.
I suppose post-blizzarding, still snowing.
Sure, yeah. But they had not received snow in quite a while. Yeah. So this was news. And so that means we are in Colorado time at about 1:30 in the morning, almost 2 in the morning to get a flight. Again, shout out to friend of the show, Molly, and her partner, Levi, for hooking us up. They let us stay at their house the night, the first night that we were there. Had a whole trek through the mountains, which ended up in us getting almost stuck at the tip of the mountain right by their house. And poor Levi had to come get us in his truck because we were in a hybrid vehicle on an icy mountain face. So he took us down to this diner to go, this diner area to go park, and then we slept at their place for maybe 2 or 3 hours. After both of us had gotten a shower in, we had a little bit of socializing with Levi and their bunny and their dog. Went to sleep, woke up, had some coffee, went down to a diner. And then we headed to our first adventure. Do you want to talk about that?
Which you correctly guessed, so I think you should reveal.
I don't. Yeah. Both times that Emma has gone to surprise me with a thing, I have guessed what it was. And I feel bad about that. Because
okay.
There was lead up to it when I had suspicion, but I don't think I knew until the day of. Until the day we were leaving. Because basically I typed in the name of this company and then it said located in this area. And so I was like, maybe we're going there.
Yeah.
But this also happened with the Blink-182 concert.
It sure did.
Where Emma was like, hey, what are you doing this date? And I was like, nothing. Why? What's going on? She goes, okay, make sure you clear it off on your calendar. And I had already known that was the date for the most geographically close Blink-182 show. I'm like, she might be taking me to Blink-182 for my birthday. And I didn't say it out loud.
Well, I knew you knew.
Yeah, of course.
But it's fun to dance around it.
Right. And
Yeah.
I want you to have the fun of me being like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the same thing happened with a trip to the, what do we call this? Interactive arts exhibit?
I would call it an interactive art, large scale interactive art exhibit with some narrative elements.
Called Meow Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Meow as in the noise a cat makes, and wolf as in the wolf.
Is that the phonetic way to say it?
Yes.
Wolf is in wolf.
My outside knowledge of it was so minor that when my mother asked what we were doing, I was like, I don't know, we're kind of like an adult Chuck E. Cheese. And Emma was like, no, we're not.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know anything about it other than this thing looks nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's multiple locations. There's one in Dallas. There's one in Denver. There's
Dallas,
Vegas.
Santa Fe. Yeah.
There's multiple.
They're
But each one
over.
is different
Yeah.
visually.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you take the lead on that a little bit if you can?
Yeah. So what I was excited for about Meow Wolf.
While quickly also addressing the fact that I will likely forget, I very rarely end up including visuals in this podcast.
Oh, sure.
So if we're like describing a thing, either describe it in great detail or just whatever. It's not important to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so Meow Wolf, I would describe its flavor as being incredibly whimsical.
Yeah.
And you can experience it in a lot of different ways. Some people come in and experience it as purely an art exhibition, right? See these cool things that these artists have made, and wow, isn't that funny looking? And wow, these are flashing lights. And that's, to be clear, these are all valid ways to experience it. You know, some people go in and they really just want to focus on like the story of it all, and people
Which
can
there
come
is
back.
a story to uncover over hours of time,
Many
which we ended
hours.
up doing.
Right. I pretty much blocked off the whole day to do this.
Yep.
You know, and
Yeah,
there's
it was
like
the only thing you had planned for that day.
so much lore. Like people can come back and be like diehards about that. Some people, you know, don't even want to appreciate it as art. They just come in a group of friends and want to be drunk and goofy.
There was plenty of that. There were people there taking like prom photos, it looked like.
Yeah.
Very strange.
It's a concert venue, you know,
Yeah.
like so lots of different ways people can come in and experience it. But I was excited because you are someone who can appreciate play and also is okay like sinking into a moment. And so I had been maybe 4 years ago, and I was
To
looking
that
forward
location.
to that location.
But you had gone to another Meow Wolf about a year prior.
Yeah, about a year
It's
prior.
different though, but yeah.
Was knowing that you would be willing to like become a part of the story again with me. And I remember there was a moment where we thought we had discovered a side quest and you were excited to get to another location. And so you grabbed my hand and you were like, come on, we gotta go.
Yeah, we sprinted
and
through this
and
building.
we ran through, and I remember it made me emotional because I'm like, he plays with me. And
Yeah.
it just felt cool. I was like, my inner child was very like delighted by that moment.
Yeah.
You know?
You can very much give yourself up to the immersion of the
Sure.
experience. Not to spoil the story, not that anybody's going to go out to Colorado to do this necessarily just from listening, but there's essentially, you're in kind of some like twisted world where 4 different dimensions have collided. So there are these weird abstract takes on reality where, you know, animals are a dominant species and juice boxes talk to you. And like
very sci-fi.
very sci-fi.
Yeah.
And there is a story to uncover about why these worlds collided, how to resolve the collision of the worlds, ultimately making a decision based on like, do you want to fix this? Do you want to leave it? But it's all interactive. So you get this self-paced. Yeah, you can go as much as you want. There's like an info station at like every single like piece of art. So like this couch cushion has a
scanner.
a little scanner. This
Dresser.
has a little scanner, and you have this card, which basically like a chip type card, where you like boop. It literally says like boop here, and you can, on the little scanner, there's a screen. You can get a little bits and pieces of information about the world that if you do it enough times at enough places, and follow enough leads, you can uncover the story. But when you walk in at first, it's like, what is this? It like looks like you're in the Upside Down, Alice in Wonderland.
And
like,
it's overwhelmingly big at first.
Yes.
At first. I mean, this is like stadiums and stadiums worth of like multiple floors of like art exhibit, essentially.
But you find yourself knowing, like you spend 2 hours in there and you're like, oh, we got to go down by that big animal guy with the big giant tall legs.
Yeah.
And like there's like a little laser gun up top that we got to go to scan that. And then, so it became like we were immersed. I was immersed. And we spent all day there.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about the intrusive thought I had.
David. Okay.
Listen, this is my bit, not
Oh
Emma's.
my God.
Listen, I unfortunately joke often about killing myself.
Yeah.
It's a joke. I'm all right. I'm doing okay. But there's this, we talked about, and it's not really worth to go in this moment, the corporatication,
Corporatization.
the corporatization of what Meow Wolf has become. That it started off as like these independent creators making this cool little art thing, and then, you know, investors get involved, and then a corporation takes over. And now it's like, how many bodies can we get in the building? How can we maximize revenue? How can we lay off employees? How can we expand to all these different locations and whatever? And if you let that thought get in, it's not as fun while you're there. So if you can push it out, you have a lot of fun. But I was struck with how many people are there, and in that sea of people that are there, how there's I can't see an employee, and if there is an employee, they're undercover.
It's part of the layouts. They used to have live actors,
and so
Yeah.
oh wow,
Yeah.
That would have enhanced that experience. It was a perfect experience. I had a great time.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
so we're up on this big tall structure, and I look, and originally the thought was like, man, if I fell from this big tall structure, like, who would come and help me? Like, where are the employees? But it came out as the words were, imagine if I killed myself with the Meow Wolf. And so,
David.
so it's just kind of become a bit. It was like, imagine killing yourself at the Dairy Queen or like whatever.
Oh, jeez.
Last episode
It's
you were on.
absurdism.
It's absurdism.
Absurdism.
Last episode you
Yeah.
were on, we were talking all about like hypotheticals and whatever.
Yeah,
So that's just
yeah.
become a new hypothetical
Yeah.
word
Well,
vomit.
it's just like there's this one room at the Meow Wolf where it's like this giant Jabba the Hutt pizza-like figure.
Yeah.
He's like a slice of pizza that's like dripping with cheese and pepperoni, and it's very creepy. But it's like, imagine your last waking thought being the pizza man staring down.
Looking
at you.
down at you.
It's just life is
10
so
out of 10
absurd.
bleed out spot.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
So whatever. Obviously, I'm here to tell the tale. I did not kill myself with the Meow Wolf, but imagine killing yourself with the Meow Wolf
Not
was
funny.
the bit.
It's not, to be so clear, it's not funny.
It's not funny if it
just
happens.
absurd.
It's funny in a hypothetical sense. Anyway, so we had a great time there. We uncovered the
God.
story. We, fulfilled our goals of storytelling. Never mind. I was going to go further into the story, but it's fine. I'm
Yeah.
not spoiling it for anybody who's going to check it out anyway, but whatever. And then we were there from dusk to dawn, and then we hiked over to our Airbnb, which was nice and quaint and cozy, and there was a little thing on the wall that said, "Do not feed the neighborhood bear."
We're down in Colorado Springs at this point, so
Yes.
about an hour south of Denver.
Yeah. It's like, do not feed the neighborhood bear. He eats trash and snacks. And we're like, haha, I bet that's true. Come to discover, that's a real bear. We did not see the bear, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So in the little booklet at the end where it's like, tell us about your stay, I was like, we love this place. It was beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
for your hospitality. My only complaint is that I didn't see the bear. And I
Yeah.
hope they thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then, take a lead.
So day 2, and despite the best of intentions and planning, not trying to pack our days, we still don't get that much sleep. I think it's
No.
just the adventure of it all,
Well, never mind. Never mind.
Okay.
I was going to talk about, I'll move on, but just for Emma's sake, I was going to talk about the incident at the Airbnb in the morning.
I genuinely have no idea what you're talking about.
Listen, Okay, I'm just gonna say it. I clogged the toilet.
Oh my God!
I clogged the
that's what you're
toilet at the
talking about.
Airbnb, and we couldn't find the plunger.
I found it
So
eventually.
it became a crisis.
Yeah, we're good.
I had a rough morning that morning. 'Cause the problems did not stop there. But anyways, continue.
Yes. So
we went to a quaint little diner. We should talk about
we did go to another diner. There were 2 French bulldogs
that's all I wanted
inside
to
in
talk about.
pajamas.
Each one of them got their own little plate
Of sausage.
of breakfast sausage.
Yeah, it was very cute. But from there, we journeyed deep underground
Yes.
into a cave.
Yes.
The Cave of the Winds.
Cave of the Winds.
Which sounds like the name of a Studio Ghibli film.
Well,
doesn't
when
it?
I was telling
Yeah.
Molly about it, I was like, what was it called? All that's coming to mind is Nausicaa in the Valley of the Winds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So this was a recommendation of David Higgins, who lives in Denver, and put on the show. But essentially, it was a cave.
Well, first you journey up
Yeah.
a mountain,
Yes.
which was like the most beautiful. That was where I was like awestruck with where we
Yeah.
were. Because that was my first real like, I'm looking at the mountains, bro.
They're
We're driving through the
beautiful.
mountains.
I love that part of the country.
Absolutely beautiful. And
Yeah.
this touristy spot is in between. You're at the top of one mountain overlooking another. So there's this valley in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry.
But essentially, you get taken in. A tour guide takes you through, which, by the way, this is such a side note, but the tour guide was so young, and it's so
Yeah.
weird to like
Yeah. He was a
start
boy.
seeing young 20s as being like, oh my gosh, you're a kid.
This kid could have been younger than 21. Very possible.
I suppose
Probably
that's
for
true.
legal purposes, probably had to be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you get taken through these tunnel systems. I wasn't quite sure what you would have enjoyed, so we did the most vanilla of the tours. There's
Yeah.
one where you can do it with lanterns only. There's one that's like you can get really muddy and like crawl through the passages, and
I'm
so
down
we
for
took
mud.
the normal tour. But it was cool. It makes you feel small in a completely different kind
It was
of way.
nuts. We
The
were
most-
with like a family of like 15 people.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But we got to have our own like visual moments where we like look
Yeah.
at things.
Probably the most striking moment of the
Yeah,
tour
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
being in complete darkness at
Yeah.
a point. Which do you want to?
He
touch on that?
just told the story about like, which whatever. It's a tour guide, so I'm sure they're like over the years stories change
Sure.
and mold to be like, what is the most commercially exciting way to tell this story so that people go whoa and like immerse people, which I'm here for that. But also this was a boy telling the story, so I'm like, okay, kid. But in this moment, he's talking about how people are like, exploring through the caves. He would show, so we were exploring these like big open landscape areas. And then, they'd narrow, we'd go through like a small passageway, and then this would open into this big area, and then we'd go through another like small narrow opening, and you have to duck, and sometimes you have to climb up things and whatever.
Yeah.
But it was big and open. The way he's explaining it is like, it didn't used to be this big and open. Like, think about like exploring through these caves, and you're like crawling for 8 to 10 hours.
Yeah.
Like
They take the floor down over time.
We
Yeah.
can loop you up to the entrance to this cave from right here. But like you're exploring, and sometimes caves would collapse, and like you have to you're stuck down here.
Your lantern would go out.
Your lantern would go out, and so in this experience, we were like at as far down as we could be. There's no external, as we could be on the tour. There's no obviously external light coming in. They have rigged this entire cave system up with battery operated lights. And I guess they did route some electricity through there. I don't
Yeah, I
understand
think
how
there was electricity routed through there.
I don't understand how that works.
Yeah.
But whatever. And he gets to this point where it's like, all right, everybody, like turn off or like put your phones in your pocket, no flashlight, make sure your phone screen isn't even on. And then they turn off all the lights, and it is the like truest, darkest of dark, blackest of black, like absolute darkness, no external light. Your eyes, even over time, could never adjust and adapt to the surroundings around you.
It's indistinguishable eyes closed versus eyes open.
Right. And sometimes that'll happen like late at night where your eyes will then slowly adjust and you see like whatever. Your eyes could not do that. We do not have that real ability. So people would hallucinate.
Not on the tour, but in the past.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Like over time, you start to lose your mind because you don't know where you're going. there's no like true way of knowing where the exit is. And so that was very immersive.
Yep.
Then we wind our way back up, and then we chill for a little bit at like the gift shop and watch a few people do that thing where they like slingshot you into the valley and like free fall and whatever on that big mechanical rig and whatever. And then we move on to Garden of the Gods.
We sure do.
Which, just for time's sake, I think you could do a better job of kind of explaining what that was.
Yeah.
And then we'll try to quickly get to the next thing.
I think Garden of the Gods, if not a national park, is a state park. It is some iteration of official parks system, right? But the primary focus of the parks being these really beautiful, like tall, reddish, striking rock formations. You know, there's a rock there called the Balanced Rock,
which is like the famous image of
yeah. But we went there, and the goal was really just to see cool rocks, right? We went on a short hike, saw these 2 gigantic fluffy crows, saw some people free climbing in the distance.
I was, again, telling Molly about this when I was trying to jog my memory. Like, it kind of sucked that moment took me out of it for a minute because I was just like struck by the majesty of the planet Earth and how cool it was that these formations exist that look like we're on Mars. It felt like we were on a foreign planet. It's just right in the United States backyard. And while being struck with the majesty of this moment, I see 2 free climbers on a very tall mountain peak, and it took me out of it because I was so scared about what the rest of my life would look like mentally if I experienced the trauma of watching this guy fall or hearing him scream. Because like, listen, I'm sure it's the coolest, most like immersive, and I keep using the word immersive, but like the coolest, like freeing, daredevil type experience you can have to be on Earth's big, tall mountains, unharnessed, untethered, and just like with your own hands and feet crawling and doing like rolls and flips and whatever. But if I would have seen that guy fall or heard him scream from all his time away, I'd never get that out of my brain.
Yeah.
Gus, go lay down. Sorry, dog is whining by the camera and it's really throwing me out, so I'm gonna throw a pillow at him. Go. So we go throughout this little journey and experience Garden of the Gods, which was again one of the most beautiful sights I've ever taken in.
We watched the sunset.
The sunset, and then at this point, we
get dinner.
We get dinner. What did we get for dinner that night?
Chipotle.
We got Chipotle.
Good stuff.
This cool little spot in Colorado.
Chipotle. I will say it was the most majestic Chipotle I've ever been to.
Oh my God, eating and looking at the giant mountains as the sun dips down.
Crazy.
Like, but then so unfortunately we only have about 20 minutes to talk about this part. So I want to make sure we get to this as quick as possible. We went to, we took the drive over to the immersive experience we were about to participate in, which for the sake of this conversation, we can't really talk about much. Which do you want to talk about?
It's more for the sake of, we're not going to go beat by beat, here's exactly what happened, just because it will likely get remounted. Right. It would be like going plot by plot through a movie we went to go see.
Right.
It's just not cool.
Right.
Yeah.
I also want to make sure, and I talked about this preemptively with you before we started the podcast, I also want to address the things that we can't talk about, that like, there is a whole world here of immersive theater. This is specifically immersive horror, which has elements of its own community. Could you give me the spark notes of what immersive horror is, even though...
Sure.
To the layman.
Yeah, to the layman. So,
because it's not just going through a haunted house.
Super quick, immersive theater, any theater where there's no distinction between actor, audience, you're part of the story. Varying levels of interactivity, varying levels of agency to affect how the story plays out. Various levels of like ability to roam about the space, but that's all kind of under the immersive umbrella. And of course, just like within film, within writing, within visual art, there's then separate mediums, genres, etc. within. And horror is just a genre within that, right? So if it's spooky, if you're scared, if you're feeling dread, it's probably, some kind of immersive horror within the immersive horror umbrella. there's varying levels of like, there can be cult horror. There can be like haunted houses, which there's no real narrative. You're just kind of, this is a spooky, scary thing, and then another spooky, scary thing, and then another spooky, scary thing. There can be, like whatever. And then, there is some immersive horror experiences that add more challenging elements, more extreme elements.
It's the extreme elements that I want to talk about
Sure.
As much as we can. My understanding going into this is like, okay, so there are, and I know I just said that these are not haunted houses, but the closest comparison to a layman is picture you're at a haunted house and one of the characters has a little like stun gun, right? And he's going brr, brr. There are some permission structures in the immersive world where this person could use the stun gun on you, not just for the sake of like, ooh, cool, this is a thing, but to further the narrative. Right? It's like,
Sure.
There's sometimes, and I don't know, this was my first immersive horror experience that, let me tell you, I was so hesitant to be involved in. This is a world that Emma loves. She has community. She's got friends in the world. I got nobody other than you. I know some of her friends, but I had no expectations, but no experience in the world. And so I love a good haunted house. I love a good scary movie. But when it comes to, this is the bravery thing that I was talking about. When it comes to, let's talk about safety and what that means for the community.
Sure.
Because this is what I was afraid of. Okay.
Sure. Oh gosh.
We all love a good safe word.
We do love a good
Right.
safe word in the community. So I was under the understanding that we're not going to deep dive on this topic.
Right.
However, if you have an experience that has decided we have decided our structure is going to include extreme elements, they now bear the burden of responsibility of everybody does, every experience does, but to a greater degree, we now bear the burden of responsibility of keeping our participants safe.
Right.
Mentally, physically, emotionally. Sorry, I'm laughing because the dog
Timber's
is snoring
so loud.
Yeah,
and you can't see his head because he looks decapitated here. His face he is melted into the couch.
But and that's safe from actual physical harm, which isn't necessarily the same thing as being quote unquote safe from pain, because some things might hurt and or be uncomfortable.
There's an emotional aspect to it where it's like, well, go ahead.
The goal is not, I'm going to push somebody into reliving a trauma of theirs until they snap and face consequences of this.
Right.
It's not to make people cry, beg, and scream, at least if you're doing it right.
Right. Those elements exist. This is not the waters that we're treading in.
Right.
Yep.
And, it's, unfortunately, that's why you have to, in my opinion, experience a really great degree of caution as to who's creating this experience. Do I know them personally?
Right.
Have they created anything before? How robust is their kind of informed consent? What have they expressed is going to be included in this ahead of time? How willing are they to discuss that? I don't think I've ever gone through an experience where I haven't talked to the creator about, hey, so this says this, what does this mean? As spoiler free as is possible. Just because, even though it is the creator's job to keep you safe, it's also unfortunately your job to keep you safe too.
Right.
So
this is where the bravery comes in.
Yeah. But go ahead.
So, well, my understanding was going in, there are going to be some tough things that you might experience, either thematically, maybe visually, they might be like a little like extreme to like think about, because if you give yourself up to the story, which is what the creators are hoping for, just like any film, imagine you're watching a film that has touched on something that you're a little triggered by. You are the only one who can turn that movie off. The movie's going to keep going, but you have the ability to pause it. And in this immersive experience, that's part of that world, which again, there are more extreme elements. There's
And this experience was not a painful experience, like a physically painful experience.
No,
or anything like that.
But again, acknowledging things we're not going to talk about, those worlds exist.
They do.
Which we were not talking about in this moment.
Yeah.
Maybe for another time, but just with the brief time we have, just all we knew is this was my first experience. I have heard plenty of stories about the most extreme ends of that.
Sure.
The like irresponsible creators and whatever that happen to exist in the world. But Emma was like, listen, this is going to be challenging to get through possibly, but if you're going to do a first one, it should be done through these people. She trusts these people. She's friends with these people. They care about their participants. They're really good storytellers.
Yeah.
And again, you have the ability to safety out. If you decide, I can't be a part of this anymore, you just say safety, story's over. Okay, we're going to end it. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. But one of the things that was reassuring was a conversation that Emma and I had before was like, listen, the goal of these guys is to tell a really good story. And so while you might safety out, they're not like hoping for that.
No.
There are extreme elements.
I think now's a great time to plug the actual name of the show, which was...
Can we do that?
Yeah, certainly.
Oh, I thought we weren't going to.
No,
But
no,
go ahead,
that's okay. The show was called Sight 2, again, by Paralysis Immersive. And I think something that was really special about this experience is the show has been brewing since, I think, 2018. Was set to debut in 2020, but then the week it was supposed to happen was the week of the shutdowns. So they made the responsible choice to call it off. Since then, they've produced other shows, one of which I acted with, another one I've experienced as a participant, and then this one we both experienced as participants. So it's kind of spent a long time in production, which is a reason that, I know for sure that the creators were very excited to finally tell it. And what's the point of hoping that people will drop out of a story that you're very excited to tell? And to be clear, their flavor of storytelling is we want to make people reflect and ultimately feel like more empowered, more whole, more in tune with their self and their community than before. And that's worth kind of getting through to see.
And that's the bravery thing that I want to talk about. One of the things that you kind of sold me on, your own personal enjoyment of these types of experiences, is it gives you the permission structure and challenge to test your own limits and bravery. And the euphoria that you can feel coming out on the other side of something and being like, I was brave and I got through it and it was challenging and it was difficult, but I did it. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, people do these experiences for all kinds of reasons. That's why there's so many different flavors of this genre, because people are in it for all kinds of reasons and they like different things and they want different things from it. My personal reason for doing it is exactly what you said. It's a really safe, kind of constrained space to experience fear that feels real, not just like
very real,
not just like jump scare boo or oh wow that's really creepy looking, but it's mimicking the feeling of something that could if it were real be unbearable. And so it's a again very safe space to hold the tension of this is an incredibly visceral fear. However, do I have it in me to slow down, like trust that things are going to be okay, that I'm going to be okay, and that there might be something worth it on the other side of this? Because I come from, a background just of my own disposition of being a very anxious person, which I think I've grown through a lot over the years. Specifically in like medical situations, right? Very afraid of feeling any kind of like pain or any kind of discomfort or getting any kind of like bad news or, yeah, I hear that too, whatever that is.
I think they're doing some plumbing work up above.
I see,
we're
okay.
hearing it in the pipes. Apologies to any noise.
Sorry.
It sounds like they're doing maintenance on the apartment complex.
Well,
I mean, a tacit example, tacit's not the word I'm looking for, but an example is you're really scared of what happens when you're on a plane.
Yeah.
But you are brave and you continue to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I'm not there necessarily to feel the fear, but I'm there to feel what the transition from fear to the other side feels like, which is not something you can get in most scenarios in a like safe way, at least to that degree,
And having heard some of the stories of the really good side of the storytelling and also some of the bad side of the storytelling from, again, we don't need to get into it, but there exists such a world. Like with anything, there's a spectrum of responsibility and what some creators are willing to do to their participants and through their stories. And I had no experience of doing this myself. So some of the bravery was just being there to begin with, because I told Emma for like months, I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And she had kind of, something I couldn't know until the end was so much of the fear is the anticipation. It's like, I get this before this podcast to a slight degree, before a show. It's pre-show jitters. It is literally the anxiety, where the anxiety is oftentimes more overwhelming than the feeling you experience on the other side of that.
Yeah. There's a really great, because I have to plug this because I think about it all the time. There's a clip I see surface often of this woman who's about to go bungee jumping.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And the handler for the, or employee, whatever you would call him, for the bungee jumping company is talking to her. She's saying she wants to stop and not go. And he gives her this whole pep talk about how the hardest, most difficult part of the experience is exactly what she's experiencing right now. It's that heightened sense of fear. It's that trepidation to finally step over the edge. And what a shame it would be to have already endured the worst part and to stop there, because you may as well enjoy what's on the other side when you have done all the heavy lifting already. Right. And I think that's it's a really powerful state of mind.
Yes,
and so I think about that often, and it's true in this instance.
Outside of the storytelling perspective, and this airs into the woo-woo of it all, but it's like you're feeling fear, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling nervous and trepidation, like everything you want is on the other side of that fear. Like, how far are you willing to push yourself to feel the euphoria of knowing that you did something difficult, knowing that you were brave, knowing that you pushed through.
And I think that's a learned skill, which is why I keep coming back to these experiences, because of course it never becomes easy to move through fear, but just like it becomes easier to perform on a stage, or it becomes easier to, tell people bad news, or it becomes easier to stand up for yourself. You just kind of have to let your body experience things and to know that you can do that. And then it can live within your soul's memory to know that you can push through discomfort, Even
like a whatever, to try to appeal to the normies, like the other side of a really difficult workout.
Yeah.
It's like that was such a challenge, and maybe I'm a little sore and I'm gonna remember how tough that was, but I did it. I did it. I lifted that weight, or I did that cardio exercise, or whatever. Come on up, Jude. Just the feeling of, God, I did it is so powerful. And whatever, for that experience, my first ever experience, I did it. I did it. I made it through.
Which, for what it's worth, I did not.
I didn't know if you wanted to say that.
It's okay.
Or not.
No, it's fine. At the very, very end, I safetied out. Which I don't know that it's a bummer. But to go back to, they want you to experience the story. Yep. We took a breather. I got to experience the final scene anyway. Yep. And
I will just say,
moved forward.
Obviously not my place to talk about what that ending was, of course. Wow.
Very well executed.
What a thing that those creators were able to do. The thing we experienced was so immersive that when I realized what I was actually experiencing, I was blown away, because really, that's what that was? Yeah. We're dancing around it, and it's hard to talk about.
We're dancing around a lot, so I am going to throw them something just because we've given the name of the experience, but just for some context, the premise is that you're there to meet a friend who you haven't seen in a long time.
Can you talk about this?
I'm not going to give the whole story. This is all,
Sure,
you're meeting a friend
you
haven't,
Yeah.
You're meeting a friend that you haven't seen in a long time, and that it really was all I was going to say.
I see.
So you are there with a character that you've built some kind of understanding or rapport around, kind of moving through this experience. It touches on, lots of themes of friendship.
Yeah.
Lots of themes of what it means to be present. Lots of themes of what it means to be good to yourself and others.
I was just gonna say supportive.
Supportive.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what, when we talk about, we were talking a lot about, yes, there's a story along with it, and that makes it, feel more rich. But just for the sake of conversation, that's what the kind of like richness that was part of this experience
Right.
as well. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, to quickly touch on that theme again, that like everything you want is on the other side of fear or cringe or,
which is its own kind of fear, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, is there anything, obviously we have like 5 minutes left, anything else that you want to say about that experience before I stitch it all up and bring it back to the beginning?
Sure. I mean, just, I suppose a big shout out to the creators again, because they really did create something very beautiful. They told a good story that was, it's hard to even put it in a type of storytelling genre without giving too much away, but it was surprising.
Mm-hmm.
It was creative.
Mm-hmm.
It was meaningful. Opening moment was one of the most cinematic moments I've experienced in immersive ever.
Yeah.
Very incredibly well done.
Yeah.
Just lots of really striking, beautiful visuals and very carefully chosen visuals.
Yeah. One of my favorite ways to tell stories or do music is not whiplash, but range. Like, I love when a song has this really soft, sweet, melodic moment, and then it hits you in the chorus. Mm-hmm. Same thing with storytelling. I love that a way that they were able to obviously demonstrate a very scary experience. It was a horror thing, but also have so much heart in there as well that you could feel both sides of that spectrum. And it didn't feel like, hamstrung together. Like, clearly this was like well thought out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I really appreciate that side. So again, shout out to the Paralysis team.
Definitely.
For doing specifically Site 2, one more time, David Higgins, Quinn Leary, and
Sam Delacruz.
Sam was a person I didn't know as well from the three, because David came to the show that I also acted in. No, I didn't act in that one, but I was the stagehand with Quinn.
Yeah.
So just a quick tie into the bravery thing one more time too, unless there's another
real
thing.
Quick, would you do anything like that again?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I got through it.
Yeah. Tell me, like, how has your perspective shifted since, from being someone who just kind of knew about this world to you've kind of had a little bit of a taste of it?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, that raised my blood pressure to the degree that I'm like, it's like a high that I'm now chasing. Like, it's like, ooh, that weed was good. I wonder if the next one will be even stronger weed, or if I'll have now an immunity, or not immunity, a tolerance built up for it. Like, that actually has become a fun, like, that'll be fun for me to see where it's gone.
Was that unexpected that that's how you feel?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're running low on time, so I can't dive in as much as I want. Can I, sorry to the audience for vague booking here, can I say the thing that your friend said to me at the Airbnb?
Yeah, that's fine.
One of the things that he told me, can I say his name?
I would.
Okay,
I just, whatever.
One of the other participants in the experience, some of the participants and the immersive community got an Airbnb, and they all kind of stayed there, and then they'd drive up and over to have their experience, and then they'd come back, and then somebody else would drive out and whatever. But they stayed there for the weekend. And so before we went to the show, time check?
We're good.
Okay, before they went to the show, or before we went to the show, we stopped at the Airbnb so she could say hi to her friends and I could meet some of them. And I was telling a lot of them, like, I'm scared. Like, I'm very, very scared. To the point that I was like, I could have safetied out at the start and it would have maybe not felt bad about it. But I felt like I had something to prove, not just to myself, but also, like, one of the things I was telling people was, like, I am kind of a representative of you. Because you've, like, which is not necessarily true, but how I felt was that, Emma brought her boyfriend to this show as a participant, and, he's never done anything like this, and I had this fear that, like, it's like that textbook example where, like, if somebody jumps out at me, I don't want to punch them. Like, I don't want to have those types of visceral reactions.
Which, to be clear, this is all internal monologue.
Absolutely.
You were not being made
I
to
never
feel this way.
once. Yeah. Thank you again for demonstrating that. But I was nervous that if I reacted poorly, hang on one second. Gus, that's enough. Sorry. Again, to the audience, dogs are freaking out right now and it's driving me crazy, which is why Tim's being such a good boy up here. Go lay down. But I felt this pressure, not just to like do well, but also to not safety out, which meant on the other side of that, like I had to be more brave than other people in my head. It was like, there might be some people who are participating who are going to safety out. I can't do that because there are expectations placed on me that like I'm always going to be known as Emma's boyfriend who came and safetied out that one time, which again, Emma and everybody else was like, that's not going to happen. That's not how that would feel. People safety out all the time. Emma has even said she safetied out.
I did, yeah.
But there was a friend of hers who was like, you're scared, you're anxious. Come here for a second. Let me talk to you. And this was the perfect advice that I hated in the moment. He went, listen, I know you're scared, okay? And I had never met this guy. He was a big teddy bear. He was being very sweet to me. He's so sweet.
Yeah, love him.
He looks me in the eyes. He places his hand on my shoulder and he goes, listen, you just need to remember they can't kill you. And in my mind, I was like, what? They can't kill me? What do you mean they can't kill me? What are they going to try to do? It is not until after that experience was over that I'm like, what great advice. Because, you know, Emma could say all she wants, that like, they want you to get through this experience. But when the scariest things were happening to me, it's like, you know, there's this moment in Interstellar when Matthew McConaughey is choking out on that ice island and Matt Damon's like, they say that the thing you see before you die is the faces of your loved ones. Do you see your kids? Do you see them now? And while I'm experiencing the scariest things of this experience, I picture this guy's face going, they're not going to kill you. And I'm like, yeah, they're not going to kill me. Mm-hmm. And I got through those moments with the reassurance that like, I am okay. And this thing is very difficult. And I am overwhelmed. And I am scared to death. But it will be over soon. And another thing that I'm very appreciative about my own self is my ability to self-regulate with my breath. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other conversation.
And it brought into sharp contrast that I do not have that ability.
Yes, and we've talked about working on that.
Yes, we have.
But when you're anxious, like, you know, you get short of breath and whatever. And through yoga and whatever, some semblance of meditation, like I've worked on my breath work. Yeah. And in the scariest, darkest, most anxiety-ridden moments, I was breathing through it and slowing down my breath and trying to regulate. It didn't change how scary the thing was. It just changed how I reacted to it.
Because you know what else won't kill you? Releasing a new song.
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm the one who does segues around here.
Or
but yes,
trying something new.
To tie it all together, that's kind of what releasing No Time at All, my new song, has been, or doing anything creative to begin with. It is so scary to be perceived. Obviously. I've said it before on here. I'm a bit of a soft narcissist. I both hate myself and am obsessed with myself. I love doing it all. I like doing video. I like acting. I like writing. I like talking on a podcast. I love doing music. I love live music. But To the Sea, my solo project, is me. It's just me. So if anything is like, I mean, of course, quick shout out to Spencer Ziegler, friend of the show, for doing awesome production on this. This would not sound like it sounds today without his help. He's very good at his craft, and I'm genuinely so appreciative of his involvement in this process. But at the end of the day, I'm the only one in the music video. I'm the only one who's singing. I wrote the parts, and I now have to promote the shit out of this thing. And I have to do sort of the cringe, like, look at me, I made a thing. And that's really scary. But on the other side of that, fear could be like, not just like success, but validation. And what does that mean? I don't know. We've talked about this so much on this podcast that like, I just want people to think I'm good. And is that how I should behave? Probably not necessarily. I shouldn't do it for other people. But there is some sort of combined bravery with that, where it's like, yeah, but even if people don't think I'm good, I have to be brave enough to do the thing anyway, because what else am I gonna do? Rather than, or other than not do it, to give in to the anxiety, to give in to the fear. And anyways, if you're listening to this, No Time at All is out now. I'm a brave boy.
Yes, you are.
I did it. Please check it out. First and foremost, I'd love for you to check out the music video first, because that's like, you know, it's a visual component of a song. And then from here on out, you know, listen to No Time at All on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you listen to your music. Share it. Spread the word. I'm going to be annoying the shit out of you with this song for a while. I got so much promotion. I'm going to do the cringe influencer thing and promote the ever-loving shit out of it until the next one comes out. Because it is only my second official song as a solo act. And then on the other side of that, listen to Midwest Guys. We've got a bunch of shows this year. Check out the website. Check out the schedule. On Instagram, we are overloaded with shows this year, including a new hometown show that just got booked. I'll be playing in Cadillac at the Venue Event Center on May something. I don't remember, but it's on the calendar. You got anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Go to Cat and Crew. That's KATANDCREW.com. Enter the promo code Monday. That is MUNDAY for 10% off your first purchase. Check out No Time at All. Available everywhere now. Do something scary today. Or do something challenging. Challenge yourself. Because on the other side of that is something really cool. See, that was the cringe kind of shit that I'm talking about. That's it. That's all.
I think so.
Emma, I love you. Timber, I love you. Gus, I love you. Judah, I love you. Audience, I love you. Thank you for joining the ADH Deep Dive, the show that's not about ADHD, but is filled with proof it exists. My name is David J. Mund. I'll see you next time.